Aquarius, welcome to your weekly sidereal forecast for May 25th through the 31st. My name is Athen. So this week is a very important week. We're coming into it in the third quarter phase of this whole lunar cycle of your fourth house of home and family and the domestic side of things. And that's certainly where the energy is this week. Now, these fast movers, all in the stellium position here, are going to be conjunct. Mercury's going over Mars and then over the Sun over the weekend. And while that's happening all week, squaring up to Neptune. Now, Neptune's been in your first house, which is all about your guys' identity, your goals, your ambitions. So over the past many years, you've been learning to trust and flow with these things, especially involving the self-image, who you are, and connecting to who you truly are, which is connecting to all that is, or God, or the universe, however you see that. So that there is supportive for you this week when you bring in this stuff you've been learning about peace and presence and tranquility and spirituality into the fourth house. So trusting and flowing. And this is the kind of week where when we do trust and flow and just kind of not hold on too tight, especially with Mars, and not have to have everything figured out too with Mercury, then it can be very constructive. And this is constructive towards, again, the home and family, the domestic and emotional side of life here for you. So it starts on Monday when Mars squares up to Neptune. So that's going to be specifically relating to the areas of work and your communications, which again is in the state of improvement because these planets are at the bottom of the chart where they actually like to be at the top. So they're making their way up here. So you are seeing the improvement already a little bit each day, I'm sure, in those areas. But here, just trusting and just flowing as best as you can, bringing in that presence into both the communications and work side of things will be supportive on Monday and Tuesday. Then also during that time, Venus is going to be squaring up to Uranus. So there's been a lot of changes and a lot of freedom that's come about through the material side of things most recently. It's been over the past many years, but we just had a lot of activity here in your second house. So there's this newfound freedom with your values, your sense of enjoyment. And so that energy is going to be squaring up to Venus here in the early part. So you have been enjoying your self-expression. You have been enjoying, at least had the opportunity to enjoy those things, enjoy home and family even, and even the expansive side of life too, with Venus ruling your ninth house. So those things can be very nice when you are constructively working towards change here in those areas, because Uranus is calling you to make some change in those areas. And so the key here is that it's about change that's a long-term constructive change. So if it is about, travel, or if it is about home and family, or it is about this, anything relating to your self-expression and joy, just keep things nice and grounded, nice and slow, because this is a square energy, which means change can take place there, but it'll be through that slow and steady pace. We want to watch any sudden choices and decisions involving those things. Now, Tuesday and Wednesday, Mercury Retrograde is going to be conjuncting up to Mars. So I think here with this Mercury Retrograde, you've been learning a lot about fourth house matters. I think you've also been learning a lot about your self-expression and the deeper side of life, as usual with any Mercury Retrograde. But now learning about again, work and career stuff. You are learning a lot about that. And I think by Wednesday, you'll have learned some things that are important. I think it's been this ongoing process. But, here now, I think, especially with these squares up to Neptune, there's something important about this that you can certainly take away from that. So I think reflecting on those two areas in particular for that sort of early part of the week, I think will be very constructive for you. Now, Wednesday and Thursday, Venus will be trining up to Chiron, so there is this flow coming in about mid to late week here, coming in from your first house. So you guys have been going through this sort of healing process with Chiron in your first house, maybe even helping others heal too through your relationships. But whatever that's been, it is supporting you with your self-expression this week, mid to late part, Wednesday and Thursday, and home and family, and then the travel and expansive things. So I think all of that, I think you'll find very healing around that time period. Now, Wednesday through Saturday, so this whole second half of the week, Mercury is going to be squaring up to that Neptune. So this is where it's important to turn down that mental noise, especially thinking about the things relating to, again, the domestic side of life or emotional side of life, in order to allow in the spiritual information and the intuition to come in, right? And this is where it's like we try to have things figured out. Mercury's always trying to understand things, and that's good. But here, there's this fine line, this balance between understanding things on a practical level and trusting and flowing and listening to our intuition on that level. So very important for you guys, especially involving your feelings and those fourth house matters. Now, over the weekend, the sun is going to be conjuncting up to Mercury, so there is a lot of this passion I think you're learning and understanding this weekend, and that's all very supportive because that conjunction is going to be trining up to the North Node, which has been in your 8th house all year and will continue to be there. So this is where the openings and gateways are, which is all about connecting to the deeper side of life, whether it's through your relationships or work or what have you, and learning the importance of bonds and getting deeper with relationships, or just getting deeper with the different areas of your life. And then in that way, it's supporting, your life path. That's where it's all taking you. So that stuff, I think, connecting to the deeper side of things, maybe even esoteric, occult, understanding the truth about matters in general, is very supportive for you over the weekend. And I think just seeing the truth of things, and that's supporting your home and family life as well with all this activity in your 4th house. So all in all, I think this is a week where your 4th house is certainly getting activated. It's important to bring in that flow and compassion and presence into those areas and rework, be willing to rethink and redo various areas of your life with that Mercury retrograde, but all about how you feel about it. Reflect on your foundations, how you feel about it, what your goals and ambitions are for the next 6 months too, relating to things in this area, home and family and stuff, because this is where this whole lunar cycle is and solar cycle at the moment. So hope you guys have a nice week, Aquarius. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. And if you're new to this form of astrology, do check out masteringthezodiac.com, or if you'd like a personal session, and I will see you all next time. Take care.